guys, what's up? Tamara here. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Giver by Lois Lowry. This was last month's Shelf Addiction Online Book Club read, and it was also my real life book club read. And I gotta be honest, you guys, this book did lead to a lot of interesting conversation. And you know, that made me wonder, like, if us adults had a lot of different interpretations and, you know, thinking on this book, I wonder how the kids felt about it. Because from what I understand, a lot of kids read this in high school. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting. So let's see, what did I think about the book? Personally, I'm not sure I would have considered this necessarily a young adult title. And that is because there were a lot of serious themes while there was minimal violence, if any. Yeah, very minimal. There was a little bit. There was minimal, no interaction between girls and boys. You know, no kissing, no hugging, no sex. I mean, those things are absent, but there are a lot of other things going on as far as morality and, I mean, just a lot of different things that tend to have an adult feel to them. So, and I know, like, for example, as an adult, you might read things differently than a child would read them. So maybe certain themes are lost on the kids that we as adults, because we may be more jaded, pick up. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. I don't know a kid that's read this that I can compare notes to. Overall, the book was interesting. You can see it's a very short read, and I liked that. But on the flip side, I also felt that this book could have stood to be about 50 to 100 pages longer, because this story takes place over like a year and a little bit. So maybe a year and a month or something like that. But that during that year when Jonas, the main character, is getting trained by the Giver, you know, I mean, I feel like we're kind of just getting the top. We haven't even scratched the surface of all the things that he learned in that year and how that changed him as far as how he thought about the world and why his feelings changed about the world. I mean, I feel like we did get a little bit of information, but not nearly enough to satisfy me. Now, this book was published in '93, and I mention that because I also noticed that a lot of themes that are in this book are in other modern young adult dystopia novels. Like, for example, like in this book, the government kind of just makes all the decisions for you. Everything. What your job is, who your family are. You know, what you know, each year you have a set of rules and guidelines to abide, you know, by. And that reminds me of a couple of other books. It reminds me of Divergent a little bit. It reminds me of Matched a little bit. It reminds me of even a movie, like how they handle, like when people go away and go into the never ever world or whatever they call it. It kind of reminds me of, did you ever see the movie The Island with Scarlett Johansson? In that movie, people, you know, they all have this lottery and they want to go someplace, you know, when their number is up, they go to this land that they don't know about, but really it's not what they think it is. And that happens in this book as well. And I'm just like, wow, it's amazing to me that this book seems to have, and I know that this isn't completely original either. I'm sure that if I looked at some older classic dystopia titles, I would also find some correlations with those in this as well. But I did like, to me, because I've read a lot of young adult dystopia lately, it just seems like blaring that there are themes from those other books that were in this book first. So yeah, I found that interesting. So, you know, like I said, I really didn't have that many problems with the book, although I felt like I could have gotten a little bit more. I felt that some of the themes were a little adult for this type of book. Even the ending was pretty depressing to me. It kind of left me with a feeling of dread. But again, you know, I think the ending was kind of open to interpretation, and younger people might think of it differently depending on their life experiences, etc. And overall, the book club liked the book. It just led to a lot of what ifs and what about this and what about that. I mean, it had a lot of different attributes that we could talk about, which was good. And so I definitely recommend this for a book club read. But would I recommend it for a personal read? I'm not sure, you guys. I did buy the set, so there are 3 other books in this series. Now, I hope that I don't know when I'm going to get to them, but when I do, I hope that I get more of the information I was seeking from this book and the other books. Because while they are about different preteens, they exist in the same world. So I'm hoping that I'll get more information about the government, kind of how they got that way, more information on the giver, more information on a whole lot of things that I felt was a little bit lacking. So eventually I will read them, and I'll be sure to let you guys know if those gaps were filled with the other books. So, with that said, what would I rate The Giver? I would rate The Giver 3 out of 5 bookmarks. It's a strong 3, maybe even 3.5, but I don't do half ratings, so I'm going to go with 3. And like I said, I would recommend this for a book club, not necessarily for an individual just looking for something to read. But, you know, it is what it is. Did you guys read The Giver? And if so, did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you kind of middle of the road like I was? I'm curious to find out. Let me know. Did your book club read it? You know, will your book club read it? Those type of things. I'm curious to see what you guys thought. And actually, speaking of the book, did you watch the movie yet? I didn't, but I plan on it. So I'm curious to see how the book and the movie will compare. I can't imagine that the movie is anything like this book. I'm just anticipating it to be pretty different. But you guys feel free to let me know what you thought of the movie even. So that's it for today, you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. And until then, happy reading. Bye, guys.